Welcome to the WealthGenius Podcast. The WealthGenius Podcast. Strategies for multifamily real estate investing, mindset, community, success. The WealthGenius Podcast with your host, the godfather of real estate, Alfonso Cuadra, who has expansive experience in business and massive success as a real estate investor. The WealthGenius Podcast. Let's dive into today's episode.
Shyam, how you doing, my friend?
Very well, thanks. Thanks, brother.
Good to have you here. This was really important for me because we met years ago.
Yeah.
And we were having a conversation yesterday, and I'm just so inspired by everything you've done, right? So I think it definitely deserved a conversation, but I know that our audience is going to get so much from it. So thank you for coming by our WealthGenius headquarters. We're in the penthouse here in our offices, and our studio here that we have, and you're here. So thank you.
Thanks, Alfonso. I thank you for having me and for where I am today. So Thank you for that too. Yeah.
And so I want to give people like an idea of what you're doing. I mean, you're an entrepreneur, you're a real estate entrepreneur, you got a few other things on the go as well. But ultimately, you've built a really significant real estate portfolio, 61 doors. And so, give us a little taste of where you're at today.
Thanks, Alfonso. So, so currently we have 61 doors. We've started, actively investing since the last 2 years, so in peak COVID. And we have 5 real estate holding companies right now. And so now we are looking forward to build a trust and things like this. But at the same time, this real estate portfolio that we built over the past 2 years, have allowed me to pivot into my professional freedom, what we call. So I was, full-time employed, and so does my wife. So me and my wife.
What type of career?
So I'm a project manager. So I hold my project management certification. I have my MBA. I did my MBA in business from Queen's University, and I was always working the project management field. So as I built this portfolio of real estate, I was trying to see if I can start going more full-time into that, but then I need time. So last year, I got a situation, came in, and then I left, I pivoted to have my own project management consulting firm. So I work on contracts for clients. Wow. But I could do this thanks to real estate, and because I want to do real estate. So that part is becoming less and less significant, and the real estate is becoming more and more important right now. So the focus is more on real estate right now.
I love that. I know that people that are watching this, some people are trying to get started. They don't know where to get started, how to get started. How did you get started?
Okay, so I tell you the life story.
Let's start from when I was 2 years old.
Okay, yes. No, so me and my wife, we are originally from a small country. It's called Mauritius. It's a small island in the Indian Ocean on the east coast of Madagascar. So if you just Google the dodo bird, the land of the dodo, this is where me and my wife are originally from. And we came to Canada in 2009 as professional immigrants or professional workers. So we came here to to contribute to the society as professionals. So, and my wife, she's an accountant, and I'm a project manager. So we came here in 2009. As any immigrant, you choose the first job, a survival job. Then we both studied very hard. Over 3, 4 years, 5 years, we studied very, very hard to get out of the survival job. But at the same time, in 2012, then our son, whom you met yesterday, was born.
Very well-mannered boy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, very good-looking young man.
Oh, thank you. So he was born, and we are still trying to figure out what to do and how to navigate the North American, society. It's very different. All we know is learn, get a better job, buy a house, buy a car, and start saving for your retirement, as if you're retiring tomorrow.
You're already dead before you even started.
Yes. But again, it's when you come at a very young age, so we still had lots to catch. So as we started to learn about the RRSPs and RESPs and how education is expensive, all this. So this one day, me and my wife, we thought, and it was 2015. So it was 3 years now. Our son is 3 years old, and we've got better job, but we still cannot contribute to where we want to go. So we sat with our financial planner and we said, hey, how much do we have to contribute in RSP, in RESP to make us? And then he said, this, and we started contributing and paying our mortgages and everything. You have to be mortgage free. But then, coming 2015, we said, we'll never be able to make it because how much time you're left.
Yeah.
Or else you have to continue working the rest of your life to make it there. And so then in 2015, I met my realtor. Unfortunately, he passed away. But at that time, he's a retired realtor. So he had nothing to gain, nothing to lose. He wanted just to help us. This was a common friend's father. And he taught me, he said, Shyam, and then he came for a cup of tea, and then he said, Shyam, I think you should invest buy a property. And this is what will happen, because we were telling him about we cannot save, even though we had a good quality job and high paying job, but we couldn't save. So he said, buy a property and then you sell it, or you refinance it. I said, what's that? And then in 2015, we bought our first townhouse across our street. We said, this is going to pay for the education, because at the time, we would pay the mortgage or flip.
So your idea at the time was, buy a townhome, and then the tenant is going to pay it off, and then that will be our retirement.
Yeah. Or we sell everything and then we invest in the education, the university, or for our son. And if some extra money, then we can save it for our retirement. But because the RSP and RSP were not going to be enough, that was the plan in 2015. Then I said, no. So I have to learn. So I went and did my MBA. I invested $100,000 in my MBA. It was a good decision. I would never say that. But now I see, when I look back at what I could have done with the $100,000. We'll talk about that. But then it's like, I got a high-paying job. Could recoup my money in my investment for the MBA. My wife did her accounting professional. So everything worked out. But what you get net, it's not worth it's not much, and it's not enough to continue. So this is when in 2019 and I met you and that was the turning point. It was November 2019. I remember I met you, and then we had a quick conversation, and then from the chit and chat.
What was the switch in your mind? Like, what was the one thing that you're like, oh? Or was it a few things that...
So there were lots of things, but because, see, media, people, everybody says, no, don't invest in real estate. I don't know if you remember in 2019, 18, real estate, especially in Ottawa, what is it, 2%, 0% appreciation and nothing. And so everybody was saying anything. And whether it was like something true or not, but when I met you and you explained how, and other people shared experiences, how they took one property and made it a business. And now that business, that is what I love.
Yes.
And that was it resonated day in and day out. I was absorbed of how I can bring that one rental to a business. And I was on the go. So from then, we followed all the processes, we followed all the trainings, we followed all the advice from people who know.
Yeah.
Who are experts in the domain, and nothing else. So we just focus.
A lot of people look at real estate like a side thing, right? And it's like the first mistake. I mean, it may start as a side gig, a side hustle, but ultimately, like, if you really want to be successful within real estate, you have to make it into a business. You got to create infrastructure. You got to hire people. I mean, we're sitting here in my office, right? People work here, they come here. It's hard to build a big business from your basement. It's possible, but how many big companies do you know that don't have an office? Right? And so that's the evolution of creating a business, right? Exactly. There's people and there's functions. You create a team. That's what a company is. A company is a group of people. And so I love that. Were you an entrepreneur?
So my parents back home, we were farmers. So we had cattle, we had farm. I mean, small, very small size. But I used to go and plant vegetables, harvest the vegetables, bring it home, clean it, and going and sell it back in the market. So, and then it's just an attitude. It's more an attitude and a mindset. So it was there somewhere. But when I started to get deep into this real estate, and then you showed how you can make this one tiny townhouse become a multi-million-dollar business, I said, yeah, it's doable. People have done it.
Yeah.
You have done it. You have started and done it. So many other people are doing it. So I should do it too.
Nice.
So I just trust blindly, but objectively. And I mean, my wife, we gave ourselves 100%. And again, we didn't invest in big thing. We had our laptops, we had our screen, but we needed a dedicated space. So we have a basement office just for that. And we gave our time.
Beautiful.
And just put the systems and processes. And now I'm not saying everything is working by itself, but with little maintenance. And
what was your first deal?
After I met you, 2 weeks later, I bought a triplex. So this is where we started incorporating our holdings. And so we went one by one. So we bought a sixplex under that. Then afterwards.
So the first bigger property was a sixplex.
Sixplex, yeah. Under
and
our
so
holdco.
I want to go back to that because I can only imagine, right? So you got one unit, you make a jump to a triplex. Triplex, now you go and make a jump to a sixplex, which for me, my philosophy is all about expansion. And you are in alignment with that because you know what? You expanded. Every time you're expanded. You went from the town to the triplex to the six. Before you closed, you're about to close a 6-unit apartment building. To me, that's fascinating. It's like, my first significant deal was 7 units.
Okay.
And so I remember thinking like, oh my God, 7 people are going to give me rent. That's incredible, right? And I was scared. I was so scared. So like, what was the feeling?
Mixed, because when we bought the townhouse and I met you, and then during that session you said, no 1 unit, no 2 units, it's very bad. But I said, geez, I'm making money out of it. But when you explain about this, the economies of scale and about the, how we call that, the exits or like losses. But for me, it's more like, oh, now I can see. I have one there, one tenant is very easy to manage. And then I have 6. But I followed exactly what you said, because when we closed the 6th one, we closed it on the 5th.
If you guys want to know why that is, you got to come to my boot camp.
True. We closed on the 5th.
Yeah.
So I went with the seller. We said, okay, let's go and have dinner. And then say, hey, do you mind introducing me? Have like a warm introduction and things like this, because it's my first time. I don't know. So, and then he said, yeah. And then we went the other day, and I brought some small cookies and things like this and distributed to all the tenants and introduced myself as a property manager. And then that immediately subsided all the, how we call that, all the fears, all these, now I have 6 tenants. But I had 1 and then I had 3. So it became 4, now I have 6. I was excited. I said, geez, now I have 10 tenants. I'm excited. As soon as I closed that, I closed a 7-unit here in Beechwood.
I love that.
And that was my first, I would say, most significant acquisition. I've never done like a $2 million property. Whoa. My wife saying, are you sure? Where are we going to get money? I said, I don't know. Just I don't know, but just do it and then we'll see what happens. We have to figure it out. Because if we don't jump, we won't. So let's jump and we will see. So we jumped into that, and sure enough, that was my first property that I bought with a partner. Now, this was a 2 million. It's a 7-unit. Now, the biggest, after that, I closed it in month after month. Now, after that 7-plex, we don't chase on MLS or Realtor Dossier. We start working with people bringing off market. And then now I have a portfolio of 5 buildings, 2.6 million. And
incredible.
And 26 doors. I work the numbers, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I said, but why wouldn't we buy it? I told my wife, we are going to put an offer on this. She said, no, but we still haven't finished the other one. I said, no, don't worry. That one is already closed. Let's get this one up. So now I've incorporated first, which we bought the 6-plex. first incorporation. After 2 months, I incorporate the second incorporation for the joint venture. Third month, so within 4 months, I incorporated 3 corporations. And people ask me why. I think they have to come to your boot camp to know why we do all these things, why we have so many corporations. So we have these corporations now with the 5 buildings within this. And we acquired it 100% fully funded by ourselves. And I didn't have zero money.
Wow.
I didn't put money. And my wife said, where are we going to get money? I said, I don't know. Because we didn't have, we didn't have money to put in. But we found creative ways.
Yes.
And, to some of your advice, we followed exactly what had to be done. And we did it. We closed it. And we kept 100% equity for this entire portfolio.
What are the conversations like at home now? Obviously, you're a different person. You're not the same person you were back when you came to Canada in 2014? 2009. And so what are the conversations that you're having? Your family, what are you saying? What are you doing? How are people feeling?
Okay, so 2 things on that one. But I'll come to another acquisition, I'll tell you. But here in Canada, it's just me and my wife. But back home, the parents are there. So it's difficult to explain what we are doing.
It's extremely hard to explain.
Because, like you said, I mean, when I speak to my mom and I said, okay, we might buy a building. I say, oh, more debt. No. So we don't, we don't share exactly what we do and how we do, but we just say, but at home within the nucleus, within me, my wife, and our son, we have this conversation. Okay, what next? What next? What do we do? What can we improve? And that's where we'd like to go. That's how also led us, after we closed the 26 units, after 3 or 4 months, I got this now 8-unit building, 2 towers side by side. Like 8 units, 16 units.
Beautiful.
So I said, geez, I want to buy that. The numbers are making sense. But how do I do that? I don't know. I incorporated another one. And I bought the first one. And I told the seller, I love your building. I really love this deal.
Yeah.
The numbers are working. I just need some time. Because it's one lot. And I know it's his baby. And he wants to sell it, the whole baby. He doesn't want to split the baby. But so I know that where he's coming from. I said, just give me some time. I'll buy one, we'll make it happen, and I'll buy the second one.
Yeah.
And then after the first one, again, we went for dinner with the family, we eat, and then we kept our conversations. I got time to restructure a few things, and sure enough, we bought the other one. So this is, now we started with one, and now we are buying like 16 units or 8 units, And the conversation at home, sure enough, sometimes we have to pause on talking about real estate because we talk so much about real estate. But from time to time, after dinner, this is where the planning, like what do we do? What do we do tomorrow? What do we do in 5 years? And now it's like we are thinking about our son's education. I mean, we sold our RSP to buy a property. And now our son owns a house. At 10 years old. And whatever he wants to do,
I love that.
He can do whatever we want. And we have a tenant. It's a brand new. The tenant is paying day in and day out. Tenants are paying for that. And he's, at 10, now in 8 years, he'll have his house.
Does he realize kind of what's going on here?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So for those who have kids and who wants to get their kids, so get a laundromat in the apartment building and get them to go to collect the coins.
I love that.
So this is his job. Of course, when we have lots of things, but when I go, I take him purposely with me to go take the keys, unlock, get a ziplock, ting 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 ting. All the coins go, and then come home, count everything. He goes to the bank. He does everything. I step back, and then he just puts him.
I love that.
So, and then even with tech, kids are high tech today, so they love technology. So put them at good use. So I have my spreadsheet. I show him, and just goes, and whenever tenants are paying, he goes there, he puts it, but this is
beautiful lessons.
This is it.
I want to go back a little bit back to Mauritius, right? So what was the move to come to Canada? Like, you're sitting there, you're a professional, so I'm assuming that you had a good life there.
Yeah.
And then there's this Canada, this opportunity to come to Canada, or this possibility to come to Canada. What was that move like? Why did you choose that?
Yeah, so we wanted to grow. We wanted to grow professionally, but at the same time to contribute. And I tell you, when we go back, every 2 to 3 years we go back, we give back to human women shelters and kids and girls shelters. We do a lot there. This has helped us to do things beyond what we even thought.
Yeah.
So, and
I love that. Someone brought this to my attention a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, like, whoa, it kind of like made me reflect a little bit. But we always talk about giving back, right? And the importance of giving back.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how his mentor told him that you're not giving back, you're giving, because you never took anything, right? And it's true, like we're just giving. We're giving, we're making sure that other people have opportunities, but we never took anything that didn't belong to us, right? Yeah. And that's really interesting. So what's the plan now, my man? So where are we going now?
Alfonso. I go back to 2019 when I can share the quote.
Yeah.
Brother, come and fly with the eagles.
Yes, sir.
Don't fly with the pigeons.
Yes.
So the plan is, we started with 1, we went to 8, and I want, to go like 30, 40. Now it's like we are looking for more like big apartment buildings.
Yeah.
And again, like you met Jane yesterday, and then she, how are you going to do that? I said, I don't know.
But you know what? If you got to 61, why not 600?
Exactly.
Why not 6,000?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
As long as you feel fulfilled, you're going to be happy. So, look, a lot of people are trying to get into real estate. Maybe someone is already dabbling a little bit. I know a lot of the people that follow me are definitely interested in real estate, and maybe they've made a few moves, right? So what are the tips that you can offer someone just getting started? Someone that was in your shoes, back in 2019 or whatever, and what should they do? What are the things that they should do? 3 things.
3 things. First, get yourself a good mentor or a coach or people who have done it, see what they have done. That's the first thing. And and I'm going to be very honest, there are so many, I've done so many courses. People come to here, come to there, come to this. Just a word of cautious here, make sure you do your homework before you choose someone.
That's excellent.
That's the first one. That's the first one, because I've heard many times, Alfonso, it's like, oh, I went there, I did this, and nothing came out. Yeah, I did this, and nothing came out. So first, make sure, do your homework, make sure you choose, because you're going to, to invest your time or whatever, but invest it in the right way, in the right people.
Yes.
Now, the second, most important, once you've chosen that, let's say that network, is to do.
Start taking action.
Yeah, just to do. I went back, I took some time, and I wrote month after month what I did. And I look at it, I said, geez, I was busy. But this is how things happen.
Yeah.
So once you surround yourself, look at, your financials and all this, but then do it. Just do it. Or if you can't do it by yourself, find somebody whom you can team up.
Yeah.
And do it. It's just like the small step, the first step.
Yeah.
You need just that handling, and this is where I am right now for the 600 units. I don't know. And I'm scared. But I have full trust because I will be given that, handling for the first. And I have full trust. So I am at the same position as if I haven't bought any property yet.
Yes.
Because it's a different scale.
Yeah.
So that's the second tip. So do it with somebody. Just do it, or do it with somebody whom you feel comfortable with, who has done it. Just do it. Just do the first one. Everything comes out.
I love it.
Yeah. And you said third, enjoy the process.
Have fun. Have fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
There will be hundreds of moments where we'll feel that the world is falling apart, and I quit now. But the smallest victory should be celebrated. The smallest victory should be celebrated. Whatever it is, the offer get accepted. Yes, because we know what will happen.
Yes.
Now, coming back to choosing the group, even though you might have the best people, the most qualified, the most, people that can do anything for you, but if you don't do anything, nothing will happen.
Yes. People ask me this all the time, Alfonso, like, how do I know that your program works? And I say, listen, I know it works if you do.
Yeah, exactly. yes, exactly. It's not anybody will do it for anybody.
Yeah. Shyam, so inspiring. So inspiring. I always want to end the program with a inspiring quote, a phrase, proverb maybe that you heard. What's the most inspiring quote that you've heard?
Surround yourself with like-minded people.
I love it.
Just surround yourself and believe in those people. Surround yourself and believe in those people, because I look it on the other way. I tell my friends who are sitting in house which are paid off, I said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But it's okay. I mean, it's okay. Everybody has their decisions. Everybody has their own. But just surround yourself. If you want to be successful, choose carefully. Time is the most important and most costly asset we may have. So, which like you said, it's like we'll never gain if we lose it. It's like so. Like just be careful with. And the people, just surround yourself with like-minded people. That's the most important one.
Listen, I'm sure you've inspired a lot of people with your story. Keep sharing.
Yeah, thanks.
Keep sharing. Keep moving forward. Thank you for coming and inspiring us here today. I love it, my friend.
Thank you so much.
And for everyone else, Alfonso loves you, and we'll see you all at the top.
And all the best to you guys. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Wealth Genius Podcast. If you have a question or comment about something you heard today, reach out to the Godfather via social media or email him anytime. All that information is in the show notes. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Wealth Genius Podcast. The Wealth Genius Podcast. Until next time, see you at the top.